What if I told you that right now you might be wearing something made out of rayon, a semi-synthetic fiber that was once produced right here along the South River? My life vest, my shorts, even my sandals, all of them are made from synthetic fibers that were made possible because of the advent of rayon. Now, despite all of the helpful uses that humans have found for rayon, the environment, and this river in particular, were often harmed in the process of making it. Today, we are going to learn about the history of rayon, the chemical mercury, and we'll see exactly what their relationship is with the South River Watershed in Virginia's Shenandoah Valley. And to assist us, I have enlisted the help of our fishy friend, Southie the Mouthy South River Fish. Rayon was produced at the DuPont Plant in Waynesboro from 1929 to 1950 and was one of the world's first human-made fabrics. The use of rayon has grown rapidly since its invention in the 1880s and has been used to make ties, evening dresses, gloves, raincoats, draperies, and upholstery fabric. During World War II, DuPont shifted much of its production to support the war effort, contributing material for parachutes, tire cord, flak jackets, mosquito netting, and other essential materials. During that time and afterwards, DuPont employed many area residents. Let's find out from Randy, who is now retired, what it was like for him and his family working at the plant.
I worked here starting into the spring of 1983. I left early in 2020, worked in 3 of the businesses. There was 4 at the time, especially after the war, and there was over 3,000 employees here at one time. And it was just a huge economic engine for the area. DuPont's role in the family was something that I grew up with. My parents used to bring us over here when we were kids. My sister worked here, cousins. This plant was one of the plants that believed in hiring family members. If your parents were probably good employees, then the children would probably be. So, the families were a big part of what DuPont stood for in this area, for sure.
In the heyday of rayon, the DuPont chemical plant in Waynesboro employed over 4,000 workers. It became the major employer and a kind of cultural fixture of the region. In order to make rayon, the plant used the chemical mercury as part of the process. No doubt you've heard of Mercury. Mercury is a Roman god, a planet. It was the name of a brand of automobiles. But it is also a naturally occurring element that has been used as a part of human endeavors throughout history.
Science!
The story of Mercury's use in human enterprises has been a long and complicated tale. The early Romans used mercury in their cosmetics because it had such a lustrous and shiny quality to it. Skip forward into the 18th century, mercury was actually used to make hats for the elite and the very well-to-do. And today, in more recent times, we use mercury for common thermometers, like this. Despite all its uses, mercury has also been found to be quite harmful to the human nervous system, and eating fish with high mercury levels is the most common way that people can be exposed to the chemical. Once it is in the environment, mercury can accumulate in soil, plants, and animals. Due to mercury's health impacts, its use in many consumer products has been phased out. However, mercury particles that are left behind can linger for many years. As you walk along the river, you won't see little silvery beads or liquid like in a thermometer. Instead, in our natural habitat, mercury takes the form of tiny particles that are too small to be seen with the naked eye. However, these tiny particles have allowed mercury to accumulate over the years in riverbank soils, fish, birds, and other plants and animals that inhabit the river environment. The solutions to mercury contamination are not simple, and it has required many years of scientific studies and monitoring to understand how mercury moves through the environment and the best ways to clean it up. Over 10,000 samples of water, soil, fish, birds, and other organisms were collected and analyzed. Through the efforts of many South River Science Team partners, it was discovered that much of the mercury released into the river was coming from erosion along the riverbanks during storms and floods. The determined solution was to repair the problematic riverbanks to reduce future erosion. To date, 1 mile of riverbank encompassing 6 sites in Waynesboro have undergone this process, known as remediation. The remediated banks, once constructed and planted with new riverbank vegetation, also are supporting recreation and enjoyment for the public. This has included new sections of the South River Greenway Trail, enhanced access for anglers and boaters, and greater connection to this section of river in Waynesboro's parks. Let's hear from Parks Director Dwayne about how the community's relationship to the river has changed over the years.
It's kind of ironic. When I moved to Waynesboro 27 years ago, the river was sort of a negative thing. With lots of flooding, folks didn't want to get to the river. And it was always my intention that, the river was a great resource, and how do we capitalize on that? And so creating of the Blue Trail from Ridgeview to Basic was a step of that. The Greenway was moving itself along and really putting folks close to the river and having that experience. Until you get in a kayak or a canoe and experience the river side of Waynesboro as it drifts through historical areas, industrial areas, it really changes your perspective of what another way to experience Waynesboro. And so we have embraced it fully, celebrating the river, the animals, the ecosystem, and all of that. So it really, I believe, has come full circle.
Even with all of the riverbank remediation efforts, the process of cleaning up mercury is not yet complete. Years of monitoring will take place in order to verify that mercury levels in the river and in the fish that swim in it are finally reduced. The intertwined story of Rayon, Mercury, and the South River spans decades. It is part of the ongoing story of transformation of the river from its industrial past to a cleaner environment where people can visit, recreate, and enjoy the natural setting of this beautiful river. To learn more about the mercury remediation, the Virginia Department of Health Fish Consumption Advisory in place for the South River and South Fork Shenandoah, or the Promotores de Salud program, visit southriverwatershed.org.